Good evening.
Hey, so I'm going to show you how this flat wall here can demonstrate to you how you can simplify your golf swing. Check this out.
Good evening, Washington, D.C., social media, Facebook, and Instagram. I want to welcome you to the Straight Up Talk Show with Earl Rush. This evening, my co-host, Eileen Torres, and myself have the privilege and the honor of having an intimate sit-down chat with the fabulous Cita Rodriguez. Usually during the show, I run some credits and I run a couple of pictures, a little montage, and a little bit of music, but I didn't do that this time because I felt if you didn't know who Cita Rodriguez was, you needed to see her in action. That's why I played the video, and you could feel the madness come through the camera. So you can't explain that kind of action you saw right there. So we're going to get straight to the interview because I'm sure Miss Rodriguez is busy and Eileen Torres is busy as well. So we're going to get right to the interview.
Hello, everyone.
Cita, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. How you feeling? Hi, Eileen.
Hey.
Wow. As you can see, as you saw in the video, if you turned in earlier, this young lady is a powerhouse performer.
Thank you.
and an excellent vocalist. I have just two questions that I want to ask you before we get into it, Cita, just so we can get it in before it gets crazy because we have a lot to talk to you about. My first question would be, if the next time we saw each other, would you have a dance with me? In advance. I'm asking you in advance. Because I saw you live one time here at Artisphere in Roswell, Virginia. Eileen had them bring you out there, but I didn't have the nerve to ask you to dance. But now I feel a little bit more confident about myself. I would ask you to dance, so I'm asking you in advance.
Oh, let's see what happens.
Okay, there you go. That's all I can ask for. And the second question before we get into it is, how do you stay so focused when you're on the stage and you have these fabulous musicians behind you and the rhythm section is just tearing it up, and you got the saxophone and the trumpets and the trombones and all the horns going behind you, but yet you're still focused and you sing a song? Because when I hear all that together, I just lose my mind and just start moving. I don't really even do any partner dancing with big band dancing. It just gets crazy. So how do you stay so focused when you're on the stage with these great musicians?
Because I stay focused because of the responsibility I feel I have as soon as I get on stage. So I am extremely focused, and I'm able to have fun in the process as I listen. I gather you're talking about when I was on stage with Mambo Legends, because you mentioned saxophones, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So having that experience with the big band was a totally different experience for me, because when I began to sing with my father, he had a conjunto, right? So there was no timbal and there were only trumpets, piano, bass, conga, bongo. So there was no timbal and no trombone and no sax, if you will. And I still say that focusedness should be happening if you are diligent, if you are respectful, not only to the music, but to the people who are there to see you and to the musicians that are on stage with you. So if you have that and the love for what you do and the respect, yeah, you're going to stay focused no matter what. At least that's my experience. Even though there are a couple of things that can knock your focus off. But based on what you're talking about, yeah, that's how it works for me.
Okay. All right. Okay,
All right. I have a lot of questions for you because I want the listeners to really get to know you. And so I'd like you to talk about your family life as a child, how many siblings you had, where you came in that order. And I'm assuming it was a musical house. So can you tell us what the birth order is and how many siblings?
Okay. So my father, my mother wasn't my father's only wife. So I have siblings on my father's side. I am the last young lady that was born, and my brother is the last young man. So my brother and I are the youngest siblings. There were 4 before us. There are 2 left.
Okay. And were you a daddy's girl?
Yes.
Yeah.
Until right now, I'm still a daddy's girl. Yes, I am. That's not over with.
Okay. All righty. So when did you realize your father was a famous singer?
That question has been coming up a lot lately. And I'd say like 4 years old, 3 going to 4 years old.
Oh, so you knew already that he had fame. He wasn't just a good singer that was in your house. So
Right, because I was aware of him at that young age, listening to any recording he would do. So he would go home and listen to what he did over and over again, and I was right there most of the time in the house, right there next to him, listening with him.
well, I'd like to talk a little bit about your mother because I had another conversation with Richie Bonilla, who had,
Richie Bonilla.
the
He's also
highest
special.
praise, of course, for your father, but he said, you need to know about Cita's mother, Frances, because Frances was a sweetheart, but she was tough as nail. She was the one who booked your father's gigs. She was the one who did the management. She was the one with the money. And he just said, your mom was just right on it. And a lot of times we fail to realize that it's the women in the family that hold the business part together, because a lot of times the artists themselves either don't want to be bothered with that part of the business, or it's just not in their wheelhouse. So tell us about your mom.
My mom was just that. My mom became my father's manager. I remember that happening when I was very young. So there were a lot of times when we used to either have a babysitter, or most of the time we were in my grandmother's house on my mother's side. So we spent a lot of weekends, a lot of Christmases, Christmas Eves, New Year's Eves with my grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, celebrating while Papi and Mommy were at a gig. She used to take care of everything regarding booking and collecting the money and paying the musicians. Whoever got crazy, she would make sure she would balance them out and say what she had to say and get what she wanted. And when it came to the ladies in the house, whoever got fresh with my father or my father got fresh with, yeah, she took care of that aspect too. I witnessed a couple of those episodes. So she was, and she continues to be, a strong woman.
Wow.
Not that I would do most of what she did, but I commend her because she got things done. She got things done. Mm-hmm. She did the best thing she could to take care of Papi. And there were some people who speak negative about that. But yeah, I lived with my father, and I know.
Well, he was such a handsome, but beyond handsome, he was elegant. He had that elegance about him. He looked like royalty, just the way he stood, the way he dressed, the way he presented himself. So of course, we know why women would be attracted to him. But I want to go back to you and talk about your musical training, that you learned to play flute. So I want to know about that. And I also want to know about your vocal training.
Yeah, I don't, when it comes to vocal training, when I was in the Conservatory of Music, it's a music college in Puerto Rico, I did one semester of vocal training. I enjoyed it very much, but that was the only vocal training I had. The rest I did with my father, listening to everything my father did and implemented while he was getting prepared to record whatever genre. So I was able to pick up right there, face to face recordings. I was able to see my father even pick songs for an album that he had in mind to record. So I would sit down with him. So I went through that whole process from the beginning until the end. I saw my father. I was able to see my father put a whole album together, from picking the songs.
Mm-hmm.
And that alone is incredible. That alone is, you have to have an ear, because what they give you is not, sometimes doesn't even have the melody, because some writers just give you the words, right? And then sometimes you have to put the melody. Sometimes it comes with melody. Sometimes what you get, the person who is sharing their songs doesn't have a voice. And I had a lot of fun doing that with Papi. We laughed a lot. We had a lot of fun. And there was moments of seriousness that I was able to see in him when he was picking his songs. So I'm grateful that I was able to see that whole process. And that alone, yeah, it's amazing. I implement it till this day.
Picking songs shows that you have a strong awareness of what the public wants and expects, but also, throw in some surprises that are going to delight your fans. Now, I would assume that you adopted some of your father's musical styling, some of his phrasing. Do you use some of his soneos in your own singing?
Of course. Yeah, because most of what I sing are his songs. So I use a lot of his soneos, and then I do my best in creating, whatever comes to mind. But I use his soneos.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell me about the first time you appeared on stage as a singer in a salsa conjunto, band, orchestra, whatever orchestration it was.
Okay, so it was with my father in Puerto Rico. I was 16 years old. I was in 10th grade in high school. I was in La Escuela Libre de Música. My major was flute. I started playing flute here in New York in middle school, in 7th and 8th grade. And then in 9th grade, I moved to Puerto Rico, and then I continued playing flute. So when I was in 10th grade, my father's corista couldn't make it. So he was in a rut. There was a TV show, 12 noon. They have TV shows in Puerto Rico, 12 noon, show de las 12. So we were going to Channel 4, Guapa, Papi was, and he didn't have the corista because the guy couldn't make it. So he looked at me and he said, "You dare? You dare sing with me?" But in Spanish, he said, "¿Te atreves a cantar conmigo?" And I took that very seriously. And I looked at him and I said, "Sí." And that's where it all began. So I went to that. I was tired of seeing those shows on TV in my home. So when I got to the studio, I thought I was going to die because it looked this big when I was there. And then on TV, it looked so gigantic, right? So I was a bit uncomfortable. I was very serious because the public was right next to me, but you can't see them, right, watching from your home. But they were right close to me, and then the cameras would come and they would pass right in my face. I'm like, wow. So it was an incredible from that day I stayed. Even when the corista came back, for the next gig. So then Papi left me there.
So you sang live. You did a live performance for your first television gig.
Yes.
Wow.
For my first gig, period.
Mm-hmm.
My first gig with And other than that, I used to sing in school. I was a part of the Glee Club. You know what I mean? You couldn't tell me nothing. I was a part of the Glee Club. And when Christmas came, I was always crazy about singing certain Christmas carols, because I don't like some of them, but yeah. So I used to do that in school, in elementary school and middle school. Mm-hmm. And then in high school, I finished middle school in Puerto Rico, but I was just focusing in school as a flute player. Mm-hmm. And then when I got to the University of Music, El Conservatorio de Música, I was a flute major. Mm-hmm. And then I changed to music education, but then I didn't finish that. I came back to New York and I decided, based on the Spanish that I acquired, I said, you know what, I'm going to change my major to bilingual education. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did, bilingual education. And I was lucky that they honored all of my music credits. So from the Conservatory of Music. So I have a minor in music, but I haven't played flute in years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've always been curious about your time with Mambo Legends. And my question was, did they invite you to join them or did they have you audition?
No, it was an invite. I had done something with Tito Puente. I was invited and my brother to do coro in Mambo Birdland 2. In that CD, they recorded it live in Birdland. Right. So my brother and I did coros in that gig, and my mother and father were able to go to one of the gigs. It was 2 days, 2 nights at Birdland. And then after that, that was the end of that. But then after that, Puente transitioned. And then I was called back to do some coros. I want to say for a recording. And then I just stayed there. I just stayed there. And I continued to do coro. I recorded coros on a CD. And then the following CD, I was invited to sing a song, which is Ahora Mismo. And then the following CD, the CD after that, I was invited to sing 3 songs. I did that. And then they did another CD, but it didn't come out. Oh. It didn't come out. So I did 1 tune there. And I did some coros too, but it didn't come out. And if it comes out, my tune won't be there, I was told, because I'm not a part of the group anymore. So I'd say that recording is just tossed, if they're not going to use it.
So before I get to my next question, I just want to tell you about the first time that I experienced you. And it was at SOB's in New York. And you were with Jimmy Bosch's band, and it was at some type of anniversary. I don't know if it was the anniversary of SOB's or if it was a Jimmy Bosch anniversary, but you were singing coro and your brother, and I told the person I was with, oh my God, we're going to be hearing from that woman. And then they said who you were. And I'm like, oh my God, well, it kind of makes sense. So that was the first time I saw you. And I had that feeling from the first time that you were going places. And so
thank you.
You certainly did. Now, are you mostly performing with your own band now?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, before COVID hit, that's what I was doing.
Okay.
Not much, but whenever I gig, it was with my band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw you at Choco's, I think Choco's last Salsa Congress, and you were there for what do they call it?
The old school room.
Yes, the old school room. Your band was rocking. I couldn't even get near you. Everyone wanted to talk to you, and what a great evening that was.
Thank you. I had fun, but it was. Do you remember there was no AC happening that night? I mean,
like that.
Are you serious? I thought I was gonna faint, but we made it happen, and everybody had fun. My brother was there too. My brother was directing the band.
Yeah, I do remember that. So one of the questions that I have is, you as a woman, have you had major or even minor problems because of your gender, or because you're such a well-known person and because you come from salsa royalty, did you experience lesser, say, gender inequality?
No, because when I started, I started with my father. So there were a lot of times that everywhere I went, every gig, I was with my father. I was performing with my father. After my father passed away, it's been going pretty well. Of course, there are certain things that transpire, in certain situations that I've had to speak up, but nothing treacherous. But I've had to stick up for myself, if you will, remind musicians, excuse me, there's a lady in this room, be respectful, things like that.
Okay, now you are a teacher by daytime, a diva by night, you're a mother. How have you been able to balance those three critical roles in your life?
I've just balanced it.
You just do it, huh?
I was raised, when I started singing, I was in 10th grade. I had to wake up early to go to school. There were times that I would have a gig with my father, okay, and we would get home at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. My mother told me, you're gonna sing, but if you complain when I wake you up in the morning, you can forget about that. So I never complained. And I always got up when I was told to get up. And I always went and I did what I had to do. And when I became a mother, it was clear to me that my daughter was my responsibility. Not that I wasn't going to need help from anyone, no. But I needed to do what I had to do because that was my daughter. So it's been a struggle. I've had struggles, but I do what I gotta do. We gotta do what we have to do. I feel very responsible till this day, and my daughter's an adult. With everything I do, it's a responsibility. So I guess being instilled in me, being very young, you can do that because I know you love that, but you have to get this done. You need a profession because you never know what can happen with the music. And seeing it with my father, sometimes he had good times, some moments. Sometimes I saw him worried. I did see him where I would want to die every time I would see my father pacing. There were no gigs. And then the older he got, nobody, there were a lot of people out there that, I don't know if we could say lose respect, but don't take the pioneers of our music into consideration. So there were times when he would lose his mind. He would lose his mind because he didn't have a gig. So they didn't want that for us. They wanted us to have something to fall back on. And I took that very serious the first time my parents told me that. Wow. I took it very, very serious. So till this day, I have a gig sometimes during the week. I get up, I get home, sometimes 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I walk in this apartment and I want to keep singing and dancing. And sometimes I don't even go to sleep, but I get up and I go do what I have to do with my students with a lot of love in my heart and happy, you know?
Well, you developed discipline very early on, and it's carried forward. Yes, the music industry has changed from when your father was on top, when he was with Pacheco, when he was with the Fania All Stars. You know, all of these guys were doing gigs, you know, several times, sometimes several times a night, many times a week. And then it began falling off. And yes, I do understand that the pioneers of the music have not been exalted in the way that they deserve, because they are the ones that brought us the music, that brought us the hits, that brought us the classics, that got us up our feet, off our feet dancing. And so we really must instill in people how important these folks are to our music, our culture, to our life, to our well-being, because they made us happy. Now tell us about the music that makes you happy. What do you love? What do you listen to? What do you sing on your own?
I love to listen to my father. Hello. It all begins with my father. I like to listen to certain female singers from way back when. I love to listen to boleros, and I love to sing boleros also. I really, really do.
And do you sing your father's? Do you sing the classics? What are your favorites?
Most of the boleros that I have been putting out there with the track are the boleros that my father, some boleros that my father has recorded. There's a lot of music out there, Eileen, that they didn't promote. So because of the reason why I continue to sing is to continue my father's legacy, you know. I don't get tired of saying this. To me, it's like I want to do it. I have to do it. I need to do it because I know what this all meant to him. I saw it. I was there. I felt it. So that's why I sing. So what I'm trying to do and what I've been doing for a while is looking into my father's music and having it arranged so that I can sing it, so that people can hear songs that they didn't play in the radio. You know what I mean? Papi had a lot of songs recorded that are excellent, and some of them he didn't. Not only didn't they play in the radio on the radio, but some of them he didn't even play at the gigs. You know, and there are reasons for that. So little by little, I've been doing just that. You know, little by little. Yeah.
So, do you have favorites that are classics? You know, there were so many great composers in Cuba and Puerto Rico and Mexico that made the most beautiful, most romantic songs. The poetry that comes from this music, from the lyrics of this music, is enough to melt anybody's heart. So are there classics that you gravitate to?
Oh yeah, I love listening to Armando Manzanero's words, you know. As interpreters, I love to sing. I love to listen to Celeste Mendoza, you know, Trina Medina, Canelita, Mita Silva. Yeah, I have a list of people that I enjoy. I love Vicentico Valdés, Benny Moré.
Oh my God! Yes, he does one of my favorite songs that appeared on a CD of boleros románticos.
Okay.
And he did La Gloria Eres Tú.
Oh, yeah, that's your song.
That's my song.
Have you heard No, I haven't. I'm reading one of Bruno's
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
And let me give a shout out to my people who are joining us. I know Lupe is there. I saw her
Yes,
name a
Lupe.
few minutes ago. Todos los que nos están acompañando esta noche, muchas gracias. Creo que Rosa Rossi está por ahí. Sé que Lupe está por ahí. Todo mi amor para ustedes y muchas gracias por acompañarnos. Qué chévere.
DJ Bruno wants to know if you've arranged any of your father's music from Conjunto Sensación.
I haven't.
Put that on your to-do list.
Something, yeah, that's something to look at, you know. There are a lot of songs that can be done. Yeah, Papi has incredible tunes. So your song is La Gloria Eres Tú. So I'm gonna sing La Gloria Eres Tú for you.
Yay!
And every woman that's here with us, because we're celebrating
Women's History Month.
Women's History Month. Ain't that something?
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited this year more than any year because I'm more aware. I'm more awake of many, many things. And I love you too, Lupe. and of who and who I am. I'm aware and I'm awake. So I'm on celebration mode, but not only for me, but for all the ladies in the house. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I salute each and every woman on this earth. On this earth. We all come from a woman. Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm.
And we all can bring life, right? So we're special. And everybody needs to know that. So let me see if I can hook the ladies up tonight. Let's see. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. I didn't have to do too much. Okay, give me 1 second, okay?
Okay. Audience, get ready. We're going to have a live performance by Cita singing one of the most romantic ballads, I think by a Cuban composer, if I'm not mistaken. I wrote down his name recently, but it slips my mind. But how lucky we are to have her singing this song that just talks about, for those that may not understand the lyrics, talking about how they say, you know, your reward is in heaven, but he is saying to this woman, I have my reward here on earth. And, you know, the way the men that sing these songs express themselves, it is a way that would make every woman just feel in her heart the greatest appreciation for the person who's singing this. And for those of you who may not have heard it before, I would suggest you start listening to some boleros. Get with someone you like and have a cocktail and dim the lights and dance slow in your living room or wherever, because it is going to be an experience that bonds you to that person. And every time you hear that song, it's going to make you think about that person. So in a few moments, we're going to have our own Cita Rodriguez sing to us.
Okay, I'm back. Thank you.
Fabulous song, yes.
Let me make sure this is. Okay, it's connecting. For all the ladies in the house, let's go, Eileen. It's great to see you. Thank you for having me here today.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness! Wait a minute. Wait. No. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. We will patiently wait for you to find the right track.
Yes, I had something else. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for being so patient. Here we go. Let's go, ladies. All my love for you. Yes. Eres mi bien, lo que me tiene extasiada, porque negar que estoy de ti, enamorada de tu dulce alma, que es toda sentimiento. De esos ojos son negros de un raro fulgor que me dominan, me incitan al amor. Eres un encanto, eres mi ilusión. Dios dice que la gloria está en el cielo, que eres de los mortales el consuelo al morir. Bendito Dios, porque al tenerte yo en vida no necesito ir al cielo. Tisú, si el alma mía, la gloria eres tú. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Dance with me, dance with me. So all the ladies in the house, I salute you. All my love is for you. You got this, ladies. We got this. Dios dice que la gloria está en el cielo, que eres de los mortales el consuelo al morir. Bendito Dios, porque al tenerte yo en vida no necesito ir al cielo. Tisú, si el alma mía, la gloria eres tú. For all the ladies in the house.
Yay!
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Beautiful. Can feel the emotion of
Great.
those words.
Yes.
The way
Oof.
you phrase it, the way you bring it out, it just resonates with everyone that has
Thank you.
ever felt love for another person, that romantic love.
Yes. Beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So have you ever thought about doing a CD of only boleros?
Yes, I've thought of that. I really have. I've been thinking about doing something soon. But it's, we're in the I'm in the planning stages.
Well, I'm sure you remember from your father's recording sessions when all the albums, because we had the LPs back then, all had salsa, mambo, at least one cha-cha, a merengue, and a bolero or two. And we had a wide variety of the style of Latin music that our artists would do. And now we've kind of gone into just one style of music, which we still love, but it would be great to bring back those days where we hear a variety of the styles.
Yeah, I stick to that. I mean, I'm not into, my thoughts right now are not to do a merengue. I always sing a bolero. Almost always. I could do it in a park too. It doesn't matter for me because I learned that from Papi. So it's something natural. In every gig, I sing a bolero. And sometimes I could be in a park and people will ask for a bolero and I sing it. You know, because some people say, no, we're in a park. No boleros, but I'll do it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about where your travels have taken you. What are the countries that you always thought about going to and were afforded the opportunity because your great voice required you to sing for people in foreign countries?
Well, the first trip I took was with my father. And I remember we used to live in Puerto Rico and we went to Venezuela. Papi went to Venezuela with his conjunto. We went twice. That was amazing. I used to sing with this group called Los Hijos de la Salsa after I started singing with Papi. And we went to Ecuador. We were there like for 11, 12 days. Hijos de la Salsa was very famous at that time in the 80s. And with the Mambo Legends, I've been to Russia. We went to Russia.
How was that?
You were the clip you showed at the beginning of the show. That's in St. Petersburg, Russia. That was amazing. Just getting there was terrible for me because I don't like to fly. So from JFK to Moscow, 10 hours, I could live without that. But I went because I couldn't get out of it. And they, you know, the promoter said no changes in the front of the band. So that included me. I tried getting out of it, but I couldn't. So we got to from here to Moscow, and then we took a little plane to St. Petersburg, and that was amazing. The gig was packed. We only did one gig, and it was amazing. They knew all the songs, and there were people there that danced like me, my father, people we see here in Russia. It was a great experience. We were there 4 days.
Isn't that mind-blowing that they would know all your music and
all of it? They knew all the songs. They sang Donde Va Maria with me. They sang Ahora Mismo with me. They were not playing.
Well, I watched that video many times, and you are talking to the girls in the audience.
Yes,
and they're feeling it.
You can't tell me they didn't understand me. They were responsive.
Yeah,
it was really nice. It was a great, and you know something, that evening the DJ played one of my father's songs. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. I could not believe I was hearing one of my father's tunes in Russia.
Which one was it? Do you remember?
A song that nobody plays. And it's called La Rumba Es Mía. La Rumba Es Mía. And it's an upbeat tune. The coro is Me está llamando, bomba y orisa me llama. That is, I thought I was going to die. I said, wow, this is Russia. Yeah.
Did you talk to him and ask him how he knew that song?
No, the DJ, I don't know where he was situated in the club. And it was a really big open space, you know? So for me to walk around there wasn't a good idea. But everybody was great. It was lovely. It was a great experience for me.
He probably did it to pay homage to your father, but for your benefit. He probably didn't play it by accident.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But that was great because I'm not. I'm not, and I wasn't the Mambo Legends. You understand? Mambo Legends wasn't about Cita Rodriguez. Mambo Legends is about the Mambo Legends, Tito Puente. You know,
Right.
so just whichever way, however he thought about it, I know I was blown away. That was amazing to me. And then that song, they could have played a classic like Esencia or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Right.
I mean? Or let's say Catalina, like the biggest hit, but you're gonna play that soon? Okay, that was great. That was great.
Well, your father had so many great hits.
Well,
Any other countries that you got to go to that you always wanted to visit?
I can't. When I was a kid, I always wanted to visit Hawaii. I guess because of all the reasons that everybody wanted to visit Hawaii when we were kids. But then I developed a fear for flying, so I don't have anything on my list, a bucket list. I'm good with going to Puerto Rico. I'm good with that.
Okay.
I would love to get to Peru, Colombia, Panama. So many people give me so much love. I would love to go over there and play and sing Papi's music, you know, with his people, with our people. But let's see what happens.
There are ships that go there.
I know. I have a professor that that's how he travels. He goes from here to Puerto Rico in ships. He's worse than me. At least I get on when I have to get on. You know, you won't tell I'm dying, but I get on.
Wow.
But,
so Cita, when you were a teenager, you were also in a band with all the other parents' kids. Can you tell me about that band?
That's the band I mentioned a few moments ago, Los Hijos de la Salsa.
Okay.
After I started singing with my father, the founder, Johnny El Bravo, called my house to see if my parents, you know, would let me be a part of that. So they said yes. So I was one of the singers. And we did the first album we did was a salsa album, and that was the first recording in that album that I ever did in my life. The first song I ever recorded, never mind I sang it, recorded, it's called La Hija de la Rumba. And I remember when we were at the studio and my father was my coach, you know, so he guided me through everything. through everything. And he was very kind and patient, soft spoken. And we got through it. I learned a lot. Oh my goodness, I learned a lot. So everything I do now pertaining to singing, I apply what I learned with my father and everything I do. So that band, Earl, that band, at one point they developed, I say they because I'm trying to get out of it. A dance rhythm was developed. I'm not even gonna say the name. Leave me alone with that. It's like it was like a calypso, and it was a craze in Puerto Rico. We traveled every town in Puerto Rico with that calypso driven rhythm. I wasn't too happy about it because I just wanted to sing and dance salsa. So I manifested a bit of resistance. But, you know, I had to do what I had to do. But we went everywhere. They even had, we would do shows, everything. We were all over the place in Puerto Rico with Los Hijos de la Salsa. I have great memories. Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
Do you have another question, Earl? Because I've got a couple more.
Let's go on. I just really wanted to know whether she would dance with me and how she stayed focused. She told me that. I wanted to learn about the bands. Everything else you pretty much asked her. So you go and ask some more. I'm good.
Okay. Tell us about some of your proudest moments.
One of my proudest moments? One of my proudest moments is when I did a play. in honor of my father's, my father's life in my eyes. And it is called El Conde y la Condesa. We were able to do it 3 times here in New York. The writer, his name is Felix Rojas. He developed this play monologue musical based on questions that he asked me. So he was able to get from the moment I understood and learned that my father was a singer, and his life through my eyes up to the day the moment he passed away. And that was incredible. It was incredible. I liked the way it was brought together as one piece. And I had a band. We picked some musicians, and my brother came down from Texas to be a part of it. Arturo Ortiz was the director, the musical director. Yeah, so that was great. I can't wait to be able to do it again.
And is it a 1-act play, and how many players?
It's a 1-act play. It is. And when you say players, musicians?
No, actors.
Me.
Oh,
one woman.
a 1-woman play.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And I sing throughout the play in certain parts.
Gee, we're surprised.
I even sing a song in English.
Really? Which one?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. You remember that movie Fame? You remember Eileen Torres?
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I wonder where I've been, who I am on my own. Do I fit in? I love that song.
Wow.
So it fit right in what was happening in the play.
Excellent, excellent. So are there goals that you have not yet realized that you're still striving toward?
Well, my number is to continue to have the opportunity, God willing, to continue to sing my father's songs and honor him. That's my purpose and my goal when it comes to singing. And now, based on my people, I've been asked a lot, like, when you're going to do something on your own, Cita. So I'm listening and I'm putting my mind to it and I'm making moves. Does everybody got to be patient? Because I am very, I want to do things right, you know? I'm not in a rush to do anything because I want to do it right. So let's see how fast I can get a little something out there for our people who ask me.
And how do you plan to re-emerge after the COVID crisis has been conquered?
I plan to emerge as a better person, as a better human being, with my continue living my life with my heart open, supporting our people as best as I can. And hopefully there will be a venue out there where I can plan something for our people in a safe environment. You know, come out as who I am, Cita, honoring her father with all my love for everyone.
All right.
Wonderful.
Wow. Miss Rodriguez, it's definitely been an honor and a pleasure for me.
My pleasure.
To sit down and chat with you. Eileen, thank you so much for making this happen. Great interview. I had a fabulous time. And Cita, don't forget, when I see you, the possibility you might dance with me.
You know, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I love to dance with our people. You know, I always love to have the space. But
Okay.
now, with what's going on now,
Mm-hmm.
that's something that's really weighing hard and
Yeah.
heavy on my heart, like it is to so many of us, right? Those
Yeah.
of us who like to feel our people's warmth,
Right.
you know? So that's hard, but let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Thank you for your kindness, for your respect. It was a pleasure being here tonight. Eileen, thank you for thinking about me. I'm honored.
Okay.
Well, you added a great layer to this endeavor that we're bringing to the folks to learn about the music that we love, about the culture, about the pioneers. And it's so great to hear that your purpose is to continue your father's legacy. And there's some more great songs of his that you need to bring out. It's
Oh
so
yeah, I take my time. I sit back and I take my time and I listen. I already have a couple in my music book here that he he didn't play that I believe they're really good songs, So in honor of him and what this meant to him, I will continue doing that until I can't no more. Because that's what I want to do. And out of that, such other beautiful things have come about, and I have embraced most of them too, that have nothing to do with my father, like Mambo Legends. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Mambo Legends. I was invited to record a song on a trombone player's CD who was nominated for a Grammy, Doug Beavers. I recorded a song, De Repente, with Jeremy Bosch. So I embrace that too. So let's do this.
All right.
As long as we do it with love and respect,
There
I'm
you go.
good. I'm good.
All right. Okay. All right, guys. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll be back next week with Choco Orta.
Beautiful.
And after that, the week after that, we'll have Lucy Grau from down in Miami. And we're going to end the series with a all-female DJ panel. That's
Nice.
the 30th. So we want to thank you again, Cita, for being part of our Women's History Month series. God bless and great to meet you.
It's my pleasure. God bless you all.
Okay.
Take care.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you
right.
for joining us, my people.
All right.
bye, everyone.